Hello everyone, my presentation is dedicated to a comparative analysis of the GDP of the two leading economic countries in Asia, Japan and China. Over the past decades, both of these countries have achieved impressive economic growth and occupied important positions in the global economy. The growth rate of Chinese GDP will against outstrip the world average already in 2024, 4.3% versus 1.7% respectively. The World Bank predicts the Chinese economy will accelerate due to the removal of anti-COVID restrictions, which will increase consumer spending, the organization notes. However, China will continue to face threats that could slow down its growth. This is primarily the occurrence of weather disasters and the outbreaks of COVID-19. And now, as you can see, China was not part of the World Bank group until 1980. Since China began open up and reform its economy in 1978, GDP growth has averaged over 9% a year, and more than 800 million people have lifted themselves out of poverty. There have also been significant improvements in access to health, education, and other services over the same period. Inflation. GDP deflator in China was reported at 4.3% in 2021, according to the World Bank collection of development indicators compiled from officially recognized sources. Inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, reflects the annual percentage change in the cost to the average consumer of acquiring a basket of goods and services that may be fixed or changed at specified intervals, such as early. The last Paris formula is generally used. The next thing we are going to talk about is GDP of Japan. In September 2021, the GDP of Japan was approximately 4.87 trillion US dollars. Japan joined the World Bank Group in August 1952. The loans taken by Japan were aimed at improving infrastructure, generating electricity, improving water supply, developing basic industries, and improving transportation. Japan is now the second largest creditor of the World Bank, and in 1970 it opened an office in Tokyo. The annual inflation rate in Japan fell to 3.3% in February 2023 from January's 41-year high of 4.3%. During the observation period from 1960 to 2022, the average inflation rate was 3% per year. Overall, the price increase was 487.44%. An item that cost 100 yen in 1960 costs 587.44 yen at the beginning of 2023. For March 2023, the year-over-year inflation rate was 3.2%. Here are some key differences in GDP between Japan and China according to the World Bank. GDP size. China has a significantly larger GDP compared to Japan. GDP per capita. Japan has a higher GDP per capita compared to China, indicating a higher average income level. Growth rates. China has experienced high economic growth rates compared to Japan in recent years. China has achieved rapid growth, with its GDP expanding at an average annual rate of around 6 or 7% in the past decade. Meanwhile, Japan's economic growth has been relatively moderate, with annual growth rates ranging from 0.2% to 1.7% in the same period.